I'm Gab, he's Jules. Blue skies over West London. Jules, how could it be anything else? The Premier League is back.
Yes.
La Liga is back.
Yes.
Ligue 1 is back.
Even, yeah.
And we have a week to go when the really big boys, no, just kidding, Serie A and the Bundesliga are back as well. We have a packed show because a lot of stuff happened. But I think there's one evident place to start, and that is at Old Trafford.
Yes,
The
that's
theater of dreams.
Yeah.
Manchester United against Arsenal. I'm going to come on right out and say it. Arsenal win 1-0. People can throw out the stat. It's like the 10 millionth loss at Old Trafford, blah, 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 for United. But United played really well. And I think in normal circumstances, between Raya's 2 unbelievable saves, one more unbelievable than the other, and the goal.
Which one is the most unbelievable?
I thought the first one.
I don't think that shot is on target.
The Mbumo shot?
Yeah. No, the Cunha shot.
Yeah, what was the
And then the
dive shot?
header, yeah.
The,
I don't think that one is on target. And I felt the other one was a bit central. But hey,
the other one,
they're
fine.
good saves. They're good saves.
I thought United deserved to win this game.
I don't know. I thought a draw was probably a fair result because I think United played better. Did they play really, really well? They would have won the game if they played really well. The XG is actually not that high and not that many big chances created. The Cunha one is him on his own, really, let's be honest. And I'm not sure you count it as a big chance. But what we knew is that Cunha and Mbomo would make this team better. And they did, and they do. They are really good in their own style. Cunha still, I think, needs to own the ball to make things happen, which he has. That one shot where he goes through pretty much with a bit of luck by the Arsenal defense, and then at the end of a long run, the shot is not powerful enough or angled enough. Or the shot that you mentioned that Raya saves. And Mbomo different, in transitions better, to isolate him and go one-on-one. This is his game. But I think, for me, this we knew. We knew that Cunha and Mbomo were much better players than anything United had going forward anyway. Sesko, we'll talk about him later. We'll have to wait and see. But I think what the most pleasing for me was how, as a team, they were better. And yeah, the rest of the team behind Bruno, Cunha and Mbomo is still not good enough. Dogu had a good game, but I'm not sure he's good enough. Dalot is not good enough. The back three, I wouldn't have Shaw there. De Ligt, okay, Euro is good. By India, let's not go there. So there's still a lot to do with this team. But actually, I thought collectively, the way their pressing numbers are similar to last season, but I thought they were well drilled. They moved the ball quite well, and that was very encouraging.
They looked way, way up for it. I gotta engage here on the goal here. Now, maybe I'm channeling my inner Vicario. I have had it up to here with goalkeepers just getting pushed and getting fouled in the 6-yard box because that's what it is. And saying, oh, well, in England it's different. He's got to be strong. I don't want to see this. And look, if the Premier League, if they have certain interpretations of how it should be played, that's fine. Those interpretations are wrong. They don't line up with what the laws of the game say and what the interpretations of it are elsewhere. William Saliba, and I don't blame him. I'm not having a go at him. He does what the rules allow. His elbow is clearly in Bindir's ribs, which is why he looks so uncoordinated. Not the only reason, probably. And afterwards, you're talking, whoa, can VAR, is there enough to overturn it? That's a stupid argument to make in this kind of situation because the referee, when it's a crowded penalty area, he's not going to know. He'll be guessing. That is a situation where they should have a different standard for VAR than something the referee clearly sees. There's no way the referee sees it clearly. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No. I thought.
Does that goal get disallowed in every other tournament in the world?
So you don't think the goalkeeper should be touched? If you touch the referee...
No. You can touch the goalkeeper.
I don't think there was much from Saliba on by India.
I think there's several replays that show that there was a lot.
But I think this is what happens a lot. Goalkeeper have the advantage of having their arms and hands, obviously. So there's still no way by India misses that ball.
Right. But
Saliba
I can jump with my arms and hands. But if somebody runs into me while I'm doing it, then I'm not going to be able to get the ball.
I know De Ligt barged into Raya in the second half, and Raya punches the ball.
That's a bit of whataboutery there. Raya might be a better goalkeeper than Bayendir.
That's not my problem, though.
But
it's the same. It's exactly the same.
I'm just saying this is not.
But it's exactly the same thing.
All right. I think. We'll have to agree to disagree on this one.
No, it's just like if I grab your arm while you try to catch the ball, that's a foul.
Right.
If I push you when you
if
can
you run into
punch
my arm while I'm trying to grab the ball, that's not a foul.
Well, Saliba is not on Bayendir's arm though. Bayendir is two arm free.
Right.
So, but that's what De Ligt does to Raya.
Actually, on Match of the Day last night, Joe Hart would dispute that. Joe Hart explains, or at least his
Well,
interpretation.
he said he had to go with the other hands.
Goalkeepers union.
Not
He
his
has to go with the
favourite
other
hand.
hand because
Yeah,
Saliba's.
true.
I don't know.
I just didn't think there was enough there, but I get your point.
All right, we're going to break this down further on the Gab and Jules podcast, as well as get into some Gyökeres v Sesko. His Sesko's cameo off the bench. Who did we like better? All right, Jules, as promised, let's talk strikers. United started with, in the app I use, it said like Mason Mount is a center forward. He wasn't really the center forward. No. He was more like a front three where they kind of took turns. And then we saw Sesko at the end. Understandable. He just arrived. On the other end, we got to see Gyökeres, right? The big bullying number 9 to so many people. And I'm Team Havertz. He's the best on earth. First game, nobody wants to rush to judgment. He did not look good. And you can make the argument, he had 3 touches in the opposition box, touched the ball, I think, 22 times throughout the game.
Yeah.
You can make the argument that's on the players around him who didn't do a good job of getting him the ball. And I think that's true. I think other than Odegaard, United's front 4, most of them were, kind of mid in this game. Arsenal's. On the other hand, he's expecting a little more from him. I mean, he looked a little bit lost there.
True, yeah, which is understandable, I think, at times. Like for when he still arrived not that long ago, he played against Villarreal and then one half against Athletic Club de Bilbao. It's a game where Arsenal have 39% of the ball, which is not much for them. A game where they are under pressure. They've been under pressure. A game where they spend more defending than attacking because that's the way they chose it. They took the lead after 13 minutes, and after that, they just tried to control everything more than trying to go and score another goal, which is something that we talked about last season, which cost them a lot because they lost a lot of points from leading position. They were 1-0 up and then got pegged back, not losing the game, but drawing the game, dropping 2 points because that desire of controlling everything instead of maybe trying to go and score another goal like City or Liverpool would do maybe. So in that situation and kind of environment, I think it's difficult for them. And this is a team that doesn't play in transition. It's a team that has the ball, and instead of going quickly forward in 2 or 3 passes, they very often choose to keep the ball, play to Saka wide, who will take 2, 3, 4 touches, wait, and then they have their team in place in the opposition half, and then they move it like they want and like they know and like they've been told to. So that he will have to adapt to. They will have to adapt to him because there's a couple of times on Sunday where they could have easily play the ball through to him in transition. That could have been interesting. There's one time they did it and he kind of walked on the ball in that second half. Maybe the dry pitch on a hot day, I don't know, or maybe he just thought about it too much and messed it up really. But yeah, it's hard when it's just an hour first game against an opposition like that away from home in a game where again you haven't attacked too much.
It's a good point about them not playing in transition. I wonder, if Arteta were here, if he would say, well, Jules, I don't necessarily have the players or haven't had the players to play in transition because to do that, I need good passers from deep. And the reality is, while I have a fantastic back 4, Calafiori maybe is the best passer. Yeah. And of course, the guy's injured 50% of the time. I had Partey and Jorginho last year. Jorginho, great passer, not necessarily a long passer. All these things put together, I wonder if that changes. I wonder if the signing of Madueke maybe is part of the thinking there. Yeah. Martinelli should be able to play in transition. Yeah,
sometimes they do.
Saka should be able to do whatever he wants.
But this is not, but this is not the game. And Saka is not a transition kind of player either.
But he could be.
He could become. And I think they will have to because this will suit in some games. Leeds on Saturday at the Emirates, there won't be any transition or unlikely because they're going to play with a very deep block. And that's when we will see Gyökeres in this kind of setup where Arsenal will have a lot of the ball, 70% of the ball, and they will camp in the box, around the box of Leeds, and will have to find solutions. And let's see how he deals with that, if he's better or not than United, where they were spaced, but they didn't really use it.
What I want to push back, though, regarding Gyökeres is this idea that I heard from some pundits and people on the radio. Is just like, when other Gyökeres is there, you have to pump crosses into the box. And I'm like, the 1990s are over. This isn't Niall Quinn who you signed.
Yeah.
There are many different ways to serve Gyökeres, and simply delivering tons of high balls into the box for him to knock down. This isn't it. You got him because he's much more multifaceted, as we saw at Sporting. Now, whether he turns out to be good enough, worth the money, that's a whole other that's a whole other point. Zubimendi, I was psyched to see what he could do.
Yeah.
I thought Cunha and Mbumo, two guys who we talked about earlier. I don't love those signings at those numbers at all.
Yeah.
But they were such live wires. I thought they got in his face a lot. And I thought he kind of focused mostly. I didn't see much playmaking from him in this game.
No, yeah.
Because they made it really difficult for him.
Yeah. And again, with only 39% of the ball for Arsenal, it's difficult for him to have an impact with the ball because I think they run 8 kilometers or 7 kilometers more than United. They had to run a lot. They didn't, with the control that they had, still, they didn't have much of the ball. And his game is all about that, right? So I thought there was a couple of sloppy passes, and I think it took him a long time to get into that game, to get into the rhythm, which is, again, understandable. Yeah. First game away at Old Trafford, when you've never played in the Premier League, where you've played well in the friendlies, but this is very different than pre-season. So I always thought this was going to be tough for him, and it was, to be fair. I expect him to be much better against Leeds, for example, on Saturday. And then as the season continues, but this was always going to be tough. And also there's Bruno and Casemiro against you and all that kind of experience. And Bruno must be a nightmare for all the things I don't like for Bruno playing deeper. It's true that he must, because of his energy and intensity all the time, it must be difficult to play against him when he plays that deep.
Lewis Skelly came on, got himself booked.
Timber as well?
Timber, although I thought Timber played well.
Yeah.
Unlike Lewis Skelly. Not that Lewis Skelly was bad, but do we read anything in his decision and the two fullbacks who did start, Ben White and Calafiori? Are we going to see alternating fullbacks all season? Did you have any sense of that?
No, I don't know. I thought White played a lot in pre-season, so maybe slightly fitter. Well, I think fitter than Timber, really. For Lewis Kelly, I think it depends really what the opposition is. If you want a left back that would go into midfield a lot and add that extra player there, Lewis Kelly is good for that, and I expect him to start against Leeds.
So is Calafiori good for that?
Yeah, but like in a game like yesterday, that was not what he was there for.
It was more about the size and physicality.
Yeah, and just to keep that back four like it was against the front three of United. You knew United would have a front three with the two wing backs really high, which they did. So it was not, you needed more of a defender at that left back position than a midfielder like Lewis Kelly, which is what he is.
All right, let's go back to United. As I said, I think there's a ton of positives to really take from this game. For all the Ruben Amorim haters and naysayers out there, he's had time to work with his team. I think it shows. He'll have more time during the season because they're not playing European football.
Yeah.
That's the good news. In midfield, I thought Casemiro showed up. Again, amazing even with older players. Like, when he's back, he's like, oh, his legs have gone. Yeah, okay. But when he's rested over the summer and he has a proper preseason, I thought he did okay. Yeah. And then you've got Ugarte, who's presumably is your mainstay there. The old chestnut of Bruno Fernandes deeper, I understand why he's there. This is my theorem. I don't want him there because he's too far away from the goal and he's still United's best scorer and assist man. Until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you brought in Sesko. You brought in these other guys. Has he committed to Bruno in the deeper role now, you think?
No. I think it will depend if they sign a midfielder, whoever that is, whether that's Baleba or I think Baleba is very difficult to do, but somebody else there that can pass the ball because Casemiro, can do to a certain extent. Ugarte can't do it. We know that.
Menu can, but then he doesn't run.
Exactly. So Menu can't play there, not at this level. So then you just need, for now, Bruno is the only one who can play there and pass the ball. So I think to the detriment, in a way, maybe to what United can do in the final third of the pitch. But for now, I don't think they have many other options. This is the only choice that they have.
On the other hand, if you play Bruno on the 2, then
one has to be benched.
Mbumo, presumably, or Cunha. One of those two drops out.
Yeah.
Which is also a call to make. Also, there's no room for Amad Diallo. I mean, I still like Amad Diallo in the wing-back role. I think he can do that too. Obviously, he didn't start this game. But he has options. And I like the fact that
Mount did well, I think, as well. I like Mount. I think Mount can be really useful for this team. Not as a starter, maybe, but as a first or second option off the bench, I think it could be interesting.
Mount can pass a little bit. Yeah. Maybe he can drop deeper. No. All right. On Sesko, what'd you see?
half an hour. The only thing really is the header on the cross by Bruno. On
He
that
also had the
kind of-
back heel too. That was pretty
Yeah, true. And
delish.
and maybe you could have done slightly better with at least put on target. It was a very difficult header, to be fair. But he would be a presence. He's strong. You said that you felt like he looked stronger or beefier maybe than what.
He was kind of stick-like early on.
Yeah. Yeah, he still is. Yeah, I think he'd be good for this team. It's just, you saw what happened in the first hour when Cunha. So one, I think Cunha is better as a 10 than as a
9.
As a 9, like he was for the first hour, even if he was good there. But then Sesko will need to adapt to this team. The way the team played with Cunha as a 9 and then Mount and Bomo behind, I don't think you can play like that with Sesko. So it'd be very interesting to see, because I think you can play longer than on Sesko.
Yeah.
You should be able to. But that, I'm not sure that is good too much for Cunha. It'd be very interesting to see once they get.
I'm in the vein of bold predictions, right? I gave you my verts one. I think if this works, if this setup works, we're going to gravitate towards a de facto 3-4-1-2, where in the 2, somebody who's going to be closer to Sesko and alongside him. I think it's too big an ask for him to be beyond that. And if you lose, it means you have to change your pressing triggers, so be it. Because I think they're very mindful of what happened with Højlund last year, also psychologically.
Yeah.
You go from Leipzig, where everybody hates you. Yeah, there's 60,000 people in the stands, but it's 60,000 Muppets. And now you really are in the glare. I think they're going to do their best to bring him out, to take as much of the pressure off him as they can.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they would change the system at all. I don't think they would change anything tactically. And again, the game on Sunday shows that this is improving and this is working. He would just have to fit there as the 9. And he will have enough support with Mbomo and Cunha, Mount, Bruno, Ahmad, whoever plays there with him. The wing backs are good for him. Amorim said after the game, we need more crosses in for him, which, to your point about Gyökeres and what people are saying about Gyökeres, it's interesting to hear Amorim saying, yeah, let's just pump the box with crosses for Sesko. We'll see. I think he will need a bit of time. But him and Gyökeres will do well. There's no doubt. They should do well. But it just naturally, it needs a bit of time. I think some strikers can arrive at a club and just fit in very well because of the way the team is set up or the way they play. For others, you just need a little bit more work.
Yeah, and I think let's not forget, both these guys haven't had that many training sessions with their new teammates yet. There you go. United fans, cheer up.